Shalom. Hey, this is Captain Micah Allah, and I'm gonna tell you a story that just happened. It was set up yesterday. I went out to our normal campsite here in Jacksonville, and it looks atrocious out there. So originally, I took it upon myself. I was gonna just go out there and do a light clean before we would gather brothers to have the camp in a couple weeks. So I went out there and I started getting all the cleaning gear out there. We're gonna do, I was just gonna do like take a weed eater and then do a little of that, and then rake up and get all the bottles and cans and rubbish and put them in bags, throw it to the curb. So I started to do that, and then a brother came up and he wanted to help me. And I said, cool. So he said, anything you want me to do, whatever you want to, give me after the job is done is fine with me. That's what he said. So I said, all right, I don't have to do this by myself. So we started I started to do the cleanup, and he was bagging stuff up, bagging up the grass and the rubbish that was out there. And then another brother came up and said, hey, can I help you, with the same deal, basically. And I said, cool, I got basically 3 people out there, and it'll take less time than I planned. I'm looking at 2 hours if I do it myself. So we started working. The first brother came out, he was working for an hour. And then the second brother came up, and then by the time he finished, it was, he worked a half an hour. So at the end of that, I said, okay, I'm gonna pay you guys, because before we ever got to this point, I offered, you guys want a sandwich, because I made some food for whoever might come out there and help me. I said, Spirit got me at least do that. So I said, hey, you guys want a sandwich or something? They declined. I said, okay, no problem. So we started cleaning up, and we got to the end, and I gave, I didn't have a lot of money. I had a $20 bill. So I gave the first guy the $20 bill. And then the argument ensued, and I was like, what's wrong with you guys? They were arguing about, the first guy said he's been working for an hour. The other guy came up, and then he said, you only work for half an hour. Why should I give you, why should I split this $20 bill with you? You get 10 and I get 10. That's not fair. He said, nah. And they're like arguing. I said, hold it. We're not going to be like that. And then it reminded me of the parable of the 1 penny. And if you haven't read that, I'm going to read it, because I got, we got a little bit of time here. So I'm going to read the whole thing. So this is Matthew 19, this is Matthew 20. I'm going to go verse 1 all the way to verse 16. Okay, so I'm going to just read. And this is Matthew 20 and 1. For the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is a householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard. And when he had agreed with the laborers for 1 penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard. And he went out about the 3rd hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace. And he said unto them, go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, I will give you. And they went their way. Again, he went out about the 6th and 9th hour and did likewise. And about the 11th hour, he went out and found others standing idle, and said unto them, why stand ye here all day idle? For they said unto him, Because no man hath hired us. He said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, that shall ye receive. So when even was come, the Lord of the vineyard said unto his steward, Call the laborers and give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first. And when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny. But when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more. And they likewise received every man a penny. And when they had received it, they murmured against the good man of the house, saying, These last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden and heat of the day. But he answered one of them and said, Friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst thou not agree with me for 1 penny? Take that thine is. Take that thine is, and go thy way. I will give unto this last even as unto thee. Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with my own? Is thine eye evil because I am good? So the last shall be first, and the first shall be last. For many be called, and few are chosen. So that's what reminded me right when it was happening. These dudes were arguing over, no, I should get more than you because you only worked a half an hour. The total job was, I worked an hour and a half. So I should get $15 and you should get 5. And then the second guy said, $5, I should get at least more than that. So they were arguing, and then I said, that's when it came to my memory. I said, the kingdom of heaven is coming to all, no matter how, when they came into this and start doing their work from like 50 years ago, and the brothers are coming in now, and they've only been just a short time. They're going to get the same reward. So I was telling these brothers, but they weren't getting it because they don't have any spiritual knowledge. So I was describing what was in Matthew 20, but the first guy, I gave him the 20. He said, I'm gonna go to the store and I'm gonna buy something. I'm gonna split this 20, and then I'm gonna give you $5. And he went off, and I pulled the other guy aside. I said, come here. And I gave him enough that would make him satisfied. So when he got his $5 from the first guy, it would be almost, because I didn't have any more money. I just had single dollar bills. So, but he was going to get 5, and I gave him 4 singles. So he would have $9 for the half hour he worked. So I made it equal with him. So the argument would stop. He wouldn't go to the other guy and say, yeah, you cheated me. So that's what it just reminded me. As soon as it started happening, I started to remember that parable. Even though they didn't get it, that the kingdom is going to be for everybody, no matter when you came into this truth. If it be like the elders that came in like 50, 60 years ago, they're going to get the same reward going into the kingdom as a brother that would just come in to this truth today or this hour. He's going to get the same reward as somebody that's been in the truth for 50 or 60 years. And that's where we got to come by this. The Most High is an equal opportunity, merciful being. He tries to make things equal. And just in this parable, you see that it's equal. If you agree to something and the others agree to 1 penny, and when the other brothers that were coming in later in the day, they were working for less time, but they still got the same penny. But then they were the people that were first were arguing. And then we come down to verse 16 where it says, the last shall be first, and the first last. For many are called, but few are chosen. Because as it went that day, that, this was just a few hours ago, that if they would have come up and I would have been stingy like I am in my previous lives. I was a stingy dude. I would do it myself in order not to pay nobody. I would never go, hey, you help me out, and then at the end of the day, I said, I ain't paying you. I wouldn't be like that. I would try. If if I knew I didn't have enough money to pay somebody or whatever, I would do it all myself. If somebody came up, hey, you need some help? I'll help you out for a little bit. I would say no. I'll do it myself. But since I came in the truth, I'm different. That stingy nigga ain't here no more. I'm generous to a point where, I'm not gonna be robbed out there. Cause they're coming up, they're living in the hood. And these are grown men. And they begging for pittance like that. And I was merciful. I said, yeah, come on. Come on and we'll get this done together. And to me, it would have taken less time. Because I had planned it, if I was going to do it myself, it's going to take me 2-3 hours. But when those brothers came up, it cycled through my brain. I said, oh, this ain't going to take no time. Especially when the other brother came up, I said, "Oh, we're going to be finished in a half an hour or so," and that's how it went down. So the Most High got those brothers to come out for one thing, because most people at that site, we got to beg them just to come up and hear the word. But when they see an opportunity to make money, now they want to get into it. So I didn't miss this opportunity to throw out some scriptures. So the first one I brought out to the first brother that came out was Proverbs 20:24, which reads, let me see if I can get that real quick. Which reads is Proverbs 20:24, which reads, man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? So that was the first one. When the first brother came out, we worked a little bit. We took a little break. And I said, you think you came out here because you were just going to the store and then you looked over and you saw me getting ready to do some work. The Most High choreographed that. He brought him out of the brother brought him out of his house and to come here and help me. Because I was like, I'm a little bit older, as you can see, that it was going to be a pain for me if I was going to be out there, doing that work for more than 2 or 3 hours, especially in a hood like that. So I got to work in there and look over my shoulder, make sure somebody ain't, that's how it is in the hood. We all know that. But when that happened, the scriptures were coming out. I was giving scripture out to brothers. I was the last one, I didn't exactly go to Matthew 20, but I just remembered that parable of the one penny. And that's how the Most High leads us. So with that, I'm gonna give all honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Shalom Israel, and have a good day. Shalom.